Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Thought Leader Circle Show. And as you all know, so we've been doing this since January, but we have been talking about IQONIK Talks since December. So before I get started, I am Kelly Charles Collins. I'm the host of the Thought Leader Circle Show, but I'm also the CEO of Speaker Moguls and the CEO of HR Legally Speaking. So Speaker Moguls is my company that I work with women experts, professional service providers, speakers, coaches, consultants to help them to really position their expertise and package it so that they can go out in the world and create impact, influence, and income. And one of the ways that we're doing that this year to really highlight and really step into our mission, which is to amplify, elevate, and affirm the voices of women experts, is to host our first virtual leadership conference, which is called IQONIK Talks. And one of the things that I thought about is like, whenever you have a conference, we see, the list of speakers and you see people out there and you see the program, or you might see somebody post on their social media that they're speaking at a particular event. But I always want to know, I want to know more about those people. I want to hear a little bit from them beforehand. And so for IQONIK Talks, what we have been doing is introducing you to our amazing speakers. So if you haven't seen the ones before, then you need to make sure that you go to my YouTube channel. It's at the Kelly Charles Collins, and you can see all of the other speakers who have been interviewed. And then today we have a great guest. And she's one of our featured speakers and so amazing. And I'm very, very excited. And to let you all know, all the women who are speakers on IQONIK Talks are clients in my Thought Leader Circle program. And when I tell you these women are dynamic, listen, y'all don't know. Y'all just don't know. So you need to show up. You need to show up for IQONIK Talks. But before I go any further, I want to introduce you. I'm going to introduce her by name, and I'm going to have her introduce herself. So this is Miss Tuwana Kemp.
Hello, everybody. Thanks, Kelly, for having me. My name is Tuwana Kemp, and I am a speaker, coach, and trainer. I'm also the founder of Growing for Greater, a leadership development organization, and I love to talk about leadership and personal growth all the time.
Exactly.
All the time.
And yep, all the time. And she's really, really good at it. And she didn't really give you who she is, right? Because Tuwana is not just, I have HR. No, she's a global HR leader. She has been in HR. You see, she has SPHR behind her name. You see, she has MBA behind her name. This is the caliber of speakers that we have in IQONIK Talks. We have PhDs, we have a lawyer, we have SPHRs, we have we have all kinds of stuff. We have everybody who's there. And, when she says, I love talking about leadership, there's a difference between talking about it and really knowing it and being an expert in it, being a thought leader and being able to communicate the information. So, Tuwana, why do you like talking about leadership?
Well, let's see. First of all, my favorite quote from my mentor, John Maxwell: everything rises and falls on leadership. It is absolutely true. We can take any type of business issue, imperative, constraint, and I can show you how it's connected to a leadership issue, concern, character flaw, etc. The leaders in any organization, they truly impact like how the environment operates, how people are actually able to show up, whether or not they're able to optimize the talent at the organization, right? They create the environments where they either strive or they flop, right?
Mhm.
So everything truly does rise and fall on leadership. So for me, it's a more scalable solution to address leadership development than it is to actually go after every single employee and try to develop them, right? If you create the environment, if you develop the leaders, right, in the environment, it's a scalable solution where you can actually impact the whole organization, right? But leadership, I'm telling you, they impact so much. There's a study that was done by UKG, and I think we talked about this before. Well, it actually said that leaders and managers impacts the lives of employees on the same level of a spouse. Like, if you think about it, they
Wow. Mhm.
impact your livelihood, they impact your career opportunities. So they really do have such a profound impact on the organization. And so we, of course, we need to focus on that, right? And
Yeah.
I just love to talk about it. Even from early '90s, it's just been one of my things. So, and
You know,
also being in HR,
yeah.
seen. I've been in HR over 20 years, and I promise you, I've seen the impact that leaders have on the organization. I'm telling you, you have bad leaders, you have ill-prepared leaders, you have immature leaders,
Mhm.
they will make or break your organization.
Yeah. But, they always
Really.
say people don't leave companies, they leave their managers, right?
Absolutely.
And
100%.
one of the things that we the whole theme for our conference is women thought leaders redefining leadership. And
Mhm,
your topic is like on the nose in terms of leadership. So it's leadership POV, right?
mhm,
Reinvigorating HR. And one of the things that we always talk about is the definition of leader,
mhm.
right? And who is a leader, who's not a leader. So talk to us about that, because I think people only think of leadership as a title.
Right. Well, that's because most people, well, there's a lot in this, Kelly, so we might be here all night. But listen, so first of all, no, first of all, I am of the mindset that everyone is a leader,
Mhm.
right? You just are, right? Either you're leading your family, you're leading your children, you're leading anybody you have influence with. You have the opportunity and the ability to influence environments, etc. You're leading, right? But in the corporate space, though, a lot of people are looking for the title only to be able
Mhm.
to operate as a leader. But actually, when you show people what a leader does and the things that a leader does, they will see, oh, wait a minute, I'm doing all of this. And you can do this within your current scope. And so I really want people to understand you don't need to be minted or mantled, or whatever you want to call it, as a leader, right? To
Yeah.
be able to operate as a leader. Leaders make decisions, they represent the company, they have judgment, they innovate, they do all these things. And you're like, oh, I'm doing that. Exactly.
Right.
You're doing that. Right. So you're leading in some capacity, especially if you're influencing environments, right? You're leading. And so the whole idea that you have to be titled as a leader is not correct. But the only people that really feel that way are the ones that are threatened
Mm.
by it's an ego thing, right? No, I'm the leader, they're not the leader, right?
Right.
But if you want a truly empowered organization, you should be okay with people taking on the persona or the
Yeah.
mentality of a leader, because then they take ownership of their work. They take ownership of what they're doing. They take ownership of the outcomes of the organization. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
then they are like, they're not waiting for you to tell them to, move forward. They do it because they're taking ownership, because they understand I'm leading in this organization. And so I show up differently. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because I always talk when I do my trainings, I talk about the streets, right? In an
Mhm.
organization, because I talk about the macro cultures and the micro cultures. And that in our micro cultures at the levels, where we're talking about our teams, there are informal leaders in those
All the time.
spaces, right? And I always call it the streets. The streets are talking. When I used to do investigations as an employment lawyer, like, let me talk to the streets. I need to talk to those people down there, and also understanding who is the person that they listen to, because
Absolutely.
it's not necessarily the person who has the title, who has everybody down there. And especially when it came to HR and the notion that people don't trust HR, right? And HR is
Mhm.
not going to do anything. If you go say something, HR is not going to do anything. And it was really interesting in that space, because I would talk to people and say, well, where did you get that from? Did you file a complaint with HR?
Mhm.
Did you do something, talk to somebody in HR? No, no, they've
Mhm.
never done any of the things. However, the leader of the streets has said, we don't trust HR.
Yeah.
Right? So when organizations are thinking about leadership and thinking about who actually is driving culture in the organization, it's so vitally important for them to understand that there are leaders in your organization that don't have these titles.
Absolutely. And especially HR people, you shouldn't wait to be titled as a leader. Like you were saying, people don't trust HR, people don't want to come to HR. Well, a
Mhm.
lot of HR people actually don't feel empowered to take
Yes.
on the mantle of a leader, though, because they're waiting for somebody to tell them, well, that's outside of you, waiting for them to get permission to step
Mhm.
outside of what they would consider their scope. But the truth of the matter is, any encounter that you have with an employee, you can actually show up as a leader with that encounter, right? And so if you have, for example, this scenario you just said, if you have an employee coming to you with a concern, you don't have to be like, oh, well, I need to see and come back. I need to. No, you're empowered to take, you should be
Mhm.
empowered to take action. You should be empowered to, make sure that employee is heard and listened to. You don't need to be minted as a title to show up appropriately in the organization. But the truth of the matter is, and when we met at the
Mhm.
HR conference, one of the things I said to you was, it's interesting when we come to these conferences, we don't see leadership development for HR. We
Mm.
always see leadership development for the HR practitioner to take back to the organization. We usually don't see
True.
the focus. You haven't seen yet. This is probably the first conference that you've seen in a long time, or if ever, where the leadership focus is on the HR professional. All the time before, it's, hey, take back these leadership, tips for your company, take back this succession planning for your company, take back this learning platform for your leaders and managers at your company. But there's not a lot of focus on leadership development for HR. But it needs to be,
Mhm.
because HR has so many touch points with managers and leaders all the time. HR has so many touch points with employees all the time. And you need to be empowered with a leadership mindset,
Yeah.
right? To be able to take action as appropriate.
Yeah.
It literally makes sense, right? And on top of that, HR people are the ones that are responsible for developing the leaders in the organization. But I'm like, be client zero. Like, you're not, do it yourself. You know what I mean? Like, show up, and there's very little development for you. And you're like, but I'm supposed to go out and develop other people. Or they just leave it up to a specific department,
Yeah.
to be able to handle. But it's not scalable, because
Mhm.
every interaction that you have with a manager or a leader within your organization, you can actually help develop them even, right? In that encounter, instead of waiting for them to go through a class, which we know, which, stop me when you get tired of me. But listen, when you know that when people go to a learning and development class, or they take a class online, that's learning in that little bubble, right?
Right.
And then they move on and they go to the next thing. But
Yeah.
real transformation or real synthesis happens when you're in a real scenario and you're having to apply what you know in that moment. HR people are in those types of encounters with managers all the time.
Every day.
You understand? And so, in that moment, if you're empowered as a leader, you can see a leadership opportunity to develop that manager real time. Like,
Yeah.
why not capitalize on that? Which is why I'm
Yeah.
saying all HR people need to be equipped to be leaders, because it's more scalable as you get to lead and develop the leaders in your organization. That way, you're
Yeah.
not just waiting for them to go through a class. You're not waiting for them to, you know, go to a seminar or whatever,
Right.
right? It's real
So,
time.
and this is why, so did y'all hear her? Like, she is so passionate about this issue. And this is why you all need to be at IQONIK Talks. So you see scrolling across the bottom, iconictalks.com. If you're just listening, IQONIK is IQONIK Talks.com. So you can go there and grab your ticket. The event, the experience, this iconic experience is going to be March 26th. It's virtual, so you have no excuse. You don't have to get on a plane, train, or automobile, and you don't have to get a hotel. You just have to turn on your computer, turn on your phone, wherever. It's going to be powered by Zoom. And this is going to be an experience. So we're going to have a DJ. You're going to be able to interact with the speakers. We're going to have these iconic moments after every speaker. What else do we have? We have lots of giveaways, like lots of giveaways, lots of virtual swag. So we have all kinds of virtual swag that you'll get. And once you register, we have created a learning path for you as so that you can get to know the speakers even more. So they've created exclusive content for you. So once you register, you'll get into our email funnel. Yes, our funnel, and you will start to get that information, but it's all valuable information. It's not anything to spam your your inbox. But we're really excited. And I love Tawana's topic, because as she said, she's really focused on HR professionals. Like, and when she says leadership point of view, she's going to talk to you about how you get this leadership point of view that she was just talking about. And coming out of the employment law arena, and just thinking about the HR professionals that I had contact with, and when we're talking about, I was a defense attorney for companies, so I'm, representing them and trying their cases, and really hearing from HR professionals, like the disempowerment, right? How disempowered they feel, because it's like they're the bridge between the team, the executive team, and the employees, and sometimes they feel that they're just stuck in the middle. And if something happens for them or to them, it's like, who's there for them? HR is there for everybody, but who's there for them? So I love your talk because, really giving, it's really exactly what we're talking about for IQONIK Talks in terms of like shifting perspectives, right? Your talk is really, I mean, everybody's talk is that, but when we're talking about HR professionals themselves, this is really a perspective shift. So if you are an HR professional, you touch any part of HR, you really need to be at IQONIK Talks. So you need to go get your ticket, iconictalks.com. Tuwana is our opening speaker. So I'm telling you, you don't want to miss it. And these talks are like 20 minutes. They're power packed, 20 minutes. So you're going to get all the information that you need. You're not going to be there for an hour, but it is going to be a really great experience. It's like nothing you've ever, that you've seen at a conference. And we've really, worked on making sure that the talks are, they run the gamut. Hey, Tutu, who's Tutu? Hey, Tuwana. Hey, Tu, I'm gonna put this up here so you can see it. Hey, Tutu, you look amazing. She does look amazing, doesn't she? She looks amazing. Not only does she look amazing, she is amazing. So, Tuwana, why should everybody who is watching right now, who's going to watch later, who knows somebody who should be in this space, why should they get their tickets to IQONIK Talks?
You know what? One thing that I know for certain is that you don't grow by happenstance. Like, it truly takes intentionality and it takes design, right? So that means we have to be very intentional about investing in ourselves. And again, HR people, we're under a lot of challenge. We have a lot of scrutiny, like you were just saying. We have to walk the fine line of what is legal, what is best for the employee, what is best for the organization. And you need to find time to actually invest in your own empowerment. And so, especially those that are HR, we don't have talks like this for us. Like, we don't have opportunities to just pour into ourselves, right? And so I'm asking those of you that are at least HR professionals, or even professionals that are not necessarily in HR, but that just need that push to understand that you can actually take ownership of where you are, and you need to be empowered. Like, invest in your own development, invest in your own growth. And this is a great opportunity to do that. But also, side note, because HR people, we are a little bit stingy, you get credits. Hello, let's just be clear, right? We also get credits. And so I don't know about y'all, but I'm in a recertification year, so I need all the credits I can get. So also do it because you also need your credits. But also, if you have like leaders and managers in your HR space, and they don't have this type of mentality, let them get a chance to see the shift in perspective. Let them understand that you also need to be poured into, and maybe this will grow and we can not be a novelty, right? Again, because you're not getting this at other conferences. They're not talking about this. So come get your ticket, and yeah, let's grow together. Yeah.
Yeah. And, I just want to talk about how we met, Tuwana, because I was speaking at the HR Southwest conference, and I'm sitting there just minding my business on my phone, and Tawana comes over and starts speaking to me. And the reason I want to bring this up is because I think so many times that we are given opportunities, right, to be in spaces where we can make connection. Because one of the things that you'll have the opportunity to do is during lunch, we're going to have breakout rooms. So you can grab your lunch and be in a breakout room and meet people. And sometimes we see people, or we follow them somewhere on social media, and then we have the opportunity like this where we can actually be in the space where they are. And just you coming up and having that conversation with me, we had never met, we had never, nothing, like it wasn't, you weren't even following me on social media, so it wasn't even that. Something told her to come over and have a conversation with me, and now look at where we are together today, because that was just October.
Right.
That just happened in
I
October,
know. I know.
right?
Yeah.
In October of 2023, we had a conversation. I was like, Tuwana, right? I
Actually,
saw
no,
something
tell
in
the
her.
truth. I harassed you. Let's
Yeah,
tell
no,
the
you
truth.
did.
Tell the truth. So I'm sitting in the lobby, and again, I'm a person of faith, so I try to be what I call led, right? And I was like, "Who is this lady?" And again, I'm not a fangirl type, not the kind of person at all, right? And so I see this lady, and I just feel the what I call the urgency to get to know who this person is. I'm like, "What? That's weird." So I'm like, "Well, never mind." So went on by my business. The next, I actually saw you the first day, and that
Oh, did you?
came up.
Okay.
It came up, right? Had no idea you were speaking, had no different idea what you were doing, who you were. And so the next day, I was sitting with my old boss, Sandy, and you were sitting alone.
Mhm.
And the same thing came up again. And I looked at Sandy and I said, "She looks like somebody I need to know." And of course, Sandy, she's like, "Go talk to her then." And I'm like, and I'm an introvert, so I don't just naturally do that to people, right? And so I wanted to follow the leading that I felt.
Mhm.
And so I go over to you and I'm like, "Who are you? Are you a reverend or something?" Like, "What do you do?" And you
Yeah,
looking at me
you
like,
did ask
"What?"
me that.
Yeah, I was like, "Are you a reverend or something?" And you said, "I'm a coach for women and women entrepreneurs and all this kind of stuff." And I was like, "Well, that's the reason." Okay. So we had a really good conversation and you were very affirming and you just first of all, took the time to pour into me, which was super, super helpful and gave me in that short amount of time, you gave me such clarity. And so then we took a photo and you sent it to me. And I remember coming home, talking to a friend saying, "I think I'm going to reach out to her." Again, because it was still like something in
Yeah.
me saying this is a connection that I need, right? And I was like, I want to reach out to her, right? And so I did. And you were like, "Yeah, sure, get on my calendar." And I'm like, "I will pay. I'm willing to pay for your time." You're like, "No, it's fine. Get on my calendar." And I get on your calendar and we have another conversation that's like really life-giving. And it was the perfect alignment of where I was in my business and what I needed to move forward. And so for me, it was a divine encounter. For others, of course, it could just be they've been following you and they know that you're brilliant,
Right.
right? But for me, it was that divine encounter. And I was like, I like her brain. I really love smart women. So, no,
Oh,
seriously, I love smart people.
me too.
And so it was like, oh, I think I need this brain. You understand? And so, yeah, it was just really, and that again, I haven't had that situation happen in other scenarios. So this was very unique. But I'm glad that I followed the prompting and
Mhm.
went across and spoke to you. Right, and then thankfully you sent me the picture, which is how I got your phone number,
Mhm.
and, yeah, and here we are, and then I harassed her, and then now she's challenging me and
Now I'm
pushing me out of my
harassing her.
yeah, and pushing me out of my comfort zone, and yeah, all of that.
No, I love it. And and I brought that up because I want people to really follow, right, what they're feeling. And so if you're watching us today, if you've seen any of the other speakers, and we have two other speakers, so in the next Monday and the Monday after, that will finish our series in terms of our speakers. But if you're feeling called to, like, what is this all about? Like, what is, they're talking about women thought leaders redefining leadership. Like, what are they talking about? We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. We're going to be talking about
Mhm,
personal branding and culture and succession planning and authenticity. And there's going to be a lot. And, we're in Women's History Month, and all the speakers are women, and all the speakers are Black women, right?
mhm,
And it just
and
happened that
super
way, right?
smart,
Right? And
and super,
like
super smart.
super,
Yeah,
super, super smart,
yeah,
right? And just like you, I love smart women. I love women who have a deep, deep level of expertise. And
mhm.
my mission is to just help you, like, hone in on that and be able to convey that to other people. And
But Kelly,
so, yeah.
they don't just have expertise, they
Mhm.
also have an intrinsic desire to help and motivate and empower, and like really they're giving from not just a space of this is my business. They're giving
Right.
from a space of I truly want to shift people for the better.
That's true.
Like their motivation is coming from a very deep place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're not playing around with, I just
Mm-mm.
heard this and I just like to talk about it.
Right.
They're coming from a place of true passion and true understanding and true value that they really want to pour into other people. So again, this is not just a conference about just come get some good knowledge. These are
Right.
people that really care about where you end up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They care about where you go next. They care about you moving from where you are to where you could be.
Yes,
You
sir.
realizing your potential. So it's more than
Yeah.
them being smart. I mean, because you get smart people all the time,
Right.
right? But they're
Right.
smart, they care, they're passionate, and
Yeah.
they're pretty awesome.
They are pretty
Yeah.
awesome. And so are you, like all of you. And, it's a true sisterhood of speakers. And as you said, everyone, this is like a really intrinsic, yes, Lacey, they are so amazing. This is a really, when you think about it, like they are, all of you are speaking from your why, right? Which is something
Mhm,
that we work on in the very beginning, is like
mhm.
really getting to the
Yep.
core of who you are, because it is about creating that impact,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
It is about also elevating your influence. It's all about those things. And so, watching and being able to experience, like we had our rehearsal yesterday, and being able to experience it, every couple of weeks, and listening to you all, I just cannot wait for everybody to experience this, because it's different, right?
Mhm.
It is different. It's
Very.
not, like you said, it's not things that people have Googled. It's not things that you get on Chat GPT. It is none of that. Because they
Right.
know, because I tell them we ain't doing that. And so you are really going to get women who are thought leaders, who are really pouring in and really do want to see you change, either personally or professionally or both. Right. And so if you have not gotten your ticket, I don't know what you're waiting on. I really don't. So go to iconictalks.com if you know somebody who needs to be there. If you have a group, so if you have a group of 5 or more, so maybe it's just a group of friends who want to come together. You don't all have to work in the same place. You just need to let us know. You can drop group in the comments, and I will follow up with you. If it's just you, you can go straight to iconictalks.com to grab your ticket there. And if you're watching this, or if you watch it on the replay, then if you DM, well, just drop in the what word should we use, Tawana, so they can get the
Mm.
special rates? What word should we use for them?
Let's do inspire.
Inspire. So drop inspire in the comments, and we'll send you a special, really special rate. A really, I'm putting this in the comments, and I'm going to post it up here. A really special rate. So drop the word inspire. And so don't, if you want the special rate, don't go to the website. You can go there to figure out, watch and see everything that's going to happen at the conference. But if you want the special rate, which I'm going to tell you, you want the special rate, drop the word inspire in the comments, and I will send that over to you. And so, again, we cannot wait to see you March 26, 2024. If you've listened to Tuwana, she knows what she's talking about. And she hasn't even told you what she's going to be like. She's telling you about leadership, but you're going to see it like in this power packed presentation on March 26th. So again, either go straight to iconictalks.com if you're not, if you just want to go there. But if you want to get your tickets, which I would really encourage you to do, really, to support, to get educated, to get entertained, to get empowered, all of it, and to really commune with other women and everyone's going to be there. It's not just women, but the purpose of this is really to help you to elevate, right? I am all about affirming, elevating, and the voices of women. So this is what we're going to do here, but also wanting to make sure that you get what you need to get to where you want to go. That is my whole focus. My entire mission in life right now is to ensure that women's value is not erased. And so this is one of the ways that I get to work on that mission. So I hope you join us at IQONIKTalks.com. Again, it's IQONIK Talks.com. And Tuwana, anything for the people before we go?
Just be there. Come on. Invest in yourself.
Yeah.
Take a little bit of time and invest in you. Nobody else is going to do it. You do it.
Yeah.
Own it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's grow. Yep.
And if you can't be there for the whole day, because I know you might not be able to be there for the whole day, get the VIP ticket, because then you'll have 30 days of access to the recordings. And even if you can be there the whole day, you know, when you're watching, you might be working, doing some other stuff. You might miss a few things. So just get the VIP ticket and get the recordings, and also have the opportunity to have a VIP reception with the speakers. You'll be able to ask them anything that you want to ask them. Well, you know, we'll see what they say about that, but you'll be able to communicate with the speaker. So again,
Yes.
join us, IQONIKTalks.com. I'll see you again next Monday and the Monday after that. And then Tuesday, March 26th, is about to go down. All right, y'all. Have an amazing day. Have an amazing evening. Take care, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.